Hello and welcome to Desync Nerds, a Nintendo Switch podcast. This is episode 21, airing on Sunday, the 18th of February. This episode is brought to you by Podnuts, which we'll talk about more in a bit. We're your hosts. I'm Colin on Twitter at DSNColin. He's Devon on Twitter at Kulana. You can find the show at Desync Nerds. As you know, we bring you all the latest news and hot topics from around the internet. This week we have more rumors straight off the rumor mill, and Kingdom Hearts and Pyro potentially coming to Switch. But first, Devon, what have you been doing this week?
I did the Splatfest. I've only been talking about wanting to play more Splatoon for actual months at this point, and I finally got back into it. And I really like that game. It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. How'd you do?
Oh,
What
terribly.
did you pick? What were the sides?
Oh,
this time?
so the Splatfest was Team Love or Team Money, which I am interpreting as what would you rather live for, money or love? Which, of course, I picked money because who needs to have people around them when they have, a Scrooge McDuck style pool to dive into?
Yeah, I mean, just look at Batman. He's totally adjusted.
Yeah, exactly. He's got loads of money, and he's a perfectly happy individual. Um,
Totally.
But I had a terrible win rate. I think I won like 15% of my games.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was really ugly.
They lost single-handedly because of your performance.
I was consistently top 2 on my team literally every game, so I don't want to hear about it. Though I don't actually know if that's points, because it didn't list points in the Splatfest games I was playing. So. But anyway, I also played a little bit of Dragon Quest Builders, but I'm struggling with it because I read a review that said at the end of every chapter, and I'm pretty sure I'm close to the end of the first chapter, you lose everything. Your town is gone, all of your gear is gone, like the only thing you maintain is your health bar. And I was starting to put real effort into making a cool building, and then I got that bit of news, and I don't know, I have a hard time carrying at that, which is sad because it's such a good game. Like it's without that, I honestly think it's one of my favorite games on this system, and that actually seriously hinders it for me.
Yeah, forced loss of progression is never fun.
Exactly. And not even like I can be better and get around that loss of progression. Like that's just part of the game. It's just a step. So, but what about you?
I've been pretty much doing nothing. I had a lot of time. I played a little bit of Lost Sphere, but in the same way that you read a review of Dragon Quest Builders, I read a review of Lost Sphere, and now the wind is taken out of my sails for that game.
Or
I'm
literally
hearing a
every
lot
review.
Well, yeah, like they just all say that it's like JRPGs are huge time sinks, so there's got to be a payoff. Well, evidently, Lost Sphere is a huge time sink with no real payoff. So, and I mean, I was feeling the same way about I Am Setsuna. I Am Setsuna did a lot better, but to me, like, it just wasn't. It was taking so long to gain traction that I kind of just gave up on it. And I really don't have enough time for that. So, and then I was playing Dragon Quest Builders because I was not playing Lost Sphere. And then you told me about that review you read, and I'm just like, you know what? I just won't play anything this week. How about that? So that's where I landed.
The struggles. On a bit of off-topic stuff, you did do other big things this week. Just give a quick overview on that.
I bought a 20 long gallon fish tank. 20 gallon long fish tank. That's the one. Yeah, those are the words in the right order. I got African dwarf frog. I got black mystery snail. I got 3 guppies, 5 Amano shrimp. And then I tried to put Dave is my beta. I tried to put him in there because evidently they can all be together. But Dave decided to fight one of the guppies. So now Dave is in his permanent home right here on this countertop.
He's got a nice
Dave
timeout space. You should definitely post. You should post a photo of the 20 on Twitter, just because I don't know. I've been.
I will after the water change. Yeah.
I've been trying to get him into this hobby for forever, so I'm really excited that you're participating. So anyway, on to things that are actually relevant. Yeah.
All right. First thing in the news: Super Mario Odyssey producer Koizumi is open to DLC. Hype.
Yeah. So he talks about how. I'm gonna just say that the whole tone of what his quote said to me says it's not a thing right now, because they talked about how in developing the original game, one of their big goals was that the player had tons to do, and that was their focus. That was the number one goal there, which they 100% delivered on. I mean, I think there's 1,000 power moons just available in the world. That's not including the ones you can buy. So and that's a lot of content. I think I have like 200 to 300 power moons, and those are mostly just the easy ones. And then he goes on to say, if there was a really cool idea for us to do, then we would certainly be thinking about DLC. That's a direct copy and paste quote. And that kind of sounds to me like it's not a thing right now. Like, that's just how I read that. But one of the things I always struggle with these is the translation errors, like, or translation issues. He's speaking English here, but I don't really know how nuanced his understanding of English is. So I struggle to really, like, take minute wordings seriously. I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's happening to me. Do you read that quote differently than I do, or?
That's actually before we'd even talked about this, because we hadn't talked about this. I got that same exact vibe.
Okay, so
yeah, like he doesn't want to just. To me, it seemed like he didn't want to just put anything out there. He wants something that really gets him going, and then that's how I read it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right, moving along. First rumor: Pokemon is currently in localization.
So there was a tweet stating that the EU translations are planned to be completed between April and June, and that translation editors are being hired on a minimum 6-month contract. With that said, I don't know how to judge these like rumor sources. This is a rando on Twitter who has 1,500 followers. Doesn't really seem like an industry insider. They tweet a lot of news, like not retweet, but they tweet their own just like summarized news headlines. So I don't really know like how seriously to take this, but Nintendo Life reported on this. I think I saw it on Switch Everything. Like, big names are reporting on this, but I don't see anything that gives us any real credibility. Like, I mean, I could go tweet that right now on my account, and it doesn't give it any validity at all. So I don't know. I mean, with all that said, this would be awesome. I would love to see a Pokemon end of the year. Like a holiday season Pokemon game seems about perfect to me. So.
Yeah, I mean that's what I wanted to.
Yeah. And it does seem possible. I don't know. I don't think that this rumor is what really pushes us to that state.
All right, moving along. Square Enix loves the Switch. Yeah, no kidding. So does Tokyo RPG Factory.
You can't tell based on the quality of their output.
Oh, that's cold. That's cold-blooded. It's a great game. It's just not a great game.
I was like, is it a great game? It's Metacritic at like 6.9.
It's obviously very well polished. It's just not well put together, if that makes sense.
There's only so much you can shine a turd.
Basically, that's what it is, yeah.
Anyway, so the quote from the Square Enix person, who I did not write down the name of, there are a lot of people at Square Enix that are looking to make games for the Switch. And then when further moved on to, they ask, how have your Switch games done? He says they haven't done poorly, which, with this, and then there's some bit about Kingdom Hearts in a little bit that we'll get to. So I'm actually going to save that thought. Moving on.
All right. Canceling what Mike Donays, I think I'm going to say Donay, has said in the past, Hearthstone is not coming to the Switch. Yeah. That's sad.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, Dean Ayala stated there's no plans to move Hearthstone to the Switch. So that's pretty definitive. I'm not too surprised. Like they've not touched any other systems besides PC and like mobile iOS and Android. So I'm not too surprised that they didn't really want to move into the Switch. Like, they seem to like the mouse and the touchscreen kind of interfaces, and the Switch's like the touchscreen interface is just not super solid. It's not great. And with it being something like 30% of the users will never take it out of the dock, that's just not you don't build around that minority or that not full group. I'm not too surprised. And honestly, I don't think I would have played Hearthstone on the Switch ever anyway, so.
I might have, because I only played it when I had an iPad, but when my iPad became a Hearthstone machine, I sold it because that's not worth. But I might play it if it's on Switch. I'm still waiting for Duelist to come out on not PC. I want Duelist on mobile. You remember that with the hexagonal?
Oh, Duelist. I'm thinking of Eternal. Yeah.
But anyway, moving along. Kingdom Hearts 3 director is interested in the Switch. Yeah, I bet he is.
Yeah, everybody's interested in the Switch. It's the new hot thing. So this is what I was alluding to earlier. They want to move more Square Enix fact check me. Kingdom Hearts is Squeenix, right?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. Yeah, of course that is, because there's Final Fantasy characters. That was dumb. Anyway, they want to do more stuff with the Switch, and I really want to see. He did go on to say there's no concrete plans right now. He said that if he said anything about the Switch, there would be riots in the streets about the Xbox and the PS4 version. So he was not willing to give any concrete statements. But the most important part about this to me, give me those anthologies. I want the old games back. With the release timeline from the first game came out in like early 2000s, eh?
Yeah, I want to say 1.
Yeah, so from 2001 to 2018, that's 17 years. That's gamers right now. There are gamers right now that play games like this that weren't alive when this series started. So you got.
Well, I mean, if we look at a more recent version of this, Shadow of the Colossus came out 2005 on PS2. Came out again remastered 2011 for the PS3, and now it's out again 2018 for the PS4 remastered. So it's not like it's unheard of. And I mean, Skyrim came out 2011. How many times has that been redone?
Bethesda is their own beast, though. I don't think that's a.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
They have
But
Skyrim on a TV or a.
The industry has seen it before, and I think I read somewhere. This is probably could be incorrect. I don't know. Don't fact check me. That this most recent Shadow of the Colossus has done better than the PS2 one ever did, like by 40%. Something insane. Like it's doing so much better than the source material.
Oh, in terms of sales?
Yes, in terms of sales. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, it's just 40% better, Devin.
I was honestly not sure. So if 40% looks better, like of course it looks amazing comparative. I have no idea.
No,
anyway.
like the aspect ratio is 40% better. That's what I meant.
Okay.
TVs are better now.
Anyway, back on track. I want a Kingdom Hearts anthology, and this seems like the perfect thing. Like to just.
Oh my god, I would love it. Yes.
Yeah. Give me 2.8 or whatever it was, 275.
Speaking of things I would love, original Spyro, the Dragon Trilogy being remade, potentially coming to the Switch in 2019.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Bullet point 1, I want this so bad in all caps. Bullet point 2, Colin, you want this so bad, also in all caps.
True.
We are both a little interested in this. So it was announced, it was rumored, this is all still rumor mill stuff, that it's coming out for PS4 in September. And they also went on to say that they expect the full announcement in March for the PlayStation version, and hopefully there will be news of the Switch port at that point. Because yeah, as we've already established, this is my nostalgia. This is another piece of my nostalgia from my childhood. I remember, actually, I don't know if you remember those old PlayStation discs that they had with the demos. Did you get one of those?
Mm-hmm.
I had
all the time.
Yeah, so I had the Spyro demo on one of those, and it just was so good. I spent so much time in that demo. So, I don't know.
All right, ready to move on?
Just I don't know. Nostalgia is my weakness. It's awful.
This right here is why I still buy platforming games, because I remember liking Spyro specifically so much that I forget that I don't like 3D platformers anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah. But anyway, moving along. Ubisoft, like everybody else on the planet, is super happy with Nintendo and the Switch.
So they did confirm that they have plans for more games coming up here pretty soon. And then I also put just a small list of their games, of their big franchises, rather.
For Honor. Oh, sorry.
Is For Honor Ubisoft,
really? No, I'm just kidding. It's Ubisoft, but it's not one of their big ones, so
okay.
It's like struggling to stay alive.
Because it's a garbage game.
I love it. You shut up.
Yeah, I mean. Anyway, so they have Far Cry, South Park, Tom Clancy, Assassin's Creed, and Watch Dogs. And honestly, I feel like most of those could be pretty good on the Switch. Maybe not Tom Clancy, because that's more twin stick shooter focused, but definitely all of the rest of those. And then to tie that into
go for it.
There was a rumor last week that Amazon Mexico had the most recent South Park game on their website for a very brief period of time before it got taken down. So
are you talking about Fractured Butthole?
I was trying to avoid that, but yeah, that's the one. So it's
there are like a million Assassin's Creeds for PSP and PS Vita too, so like that's absolutely a possibility.
Were they full on like mainline games, or were they
They were like,
recreations.
like 358/2 and Dream Drop Distance and Chain of Memories. They were like kind of supporting to the main line.
Okay,
Yeah.
but not like the mainline games.
No, no, of course not. It wasn't like a 3 or a 2. It was like a Brotherhood or Revelations or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I don't really care about Ubisoft. None of these series particularly excite me. Like Far Cry's fun, but I would actually probably pick up Far Cry. But the rest of them, I don't really care.
I'd pick up Assassin's Creed and the rest I don't really care.
Yeah.
All right, moving along to stuff we do really care about. Famitsu had a feature on Kirby Star Allies and details some stuff.
So they put out some more information about some of the new skills. Some of these we've already seen actually. So they talked about Staff, which is Wukong, if you're familiar with that, or Kid Goku with the power pole. It's a very common trope in like Japanese media.
Lore.
Yeah. They also put out information about Festival, which is just one of the Nuke It from Orbits. This kind of a mainstay in Kirby games. We've had like the music one and other stuff, so it's just everything on the screen dies. And then the two that we've already seen, I think these were in the direct. There's Spider, which you just kind of like spray web at people and turn them into big cocoons, which is nasty.
Hilarious.
And Artist, where you draw like one of the examples is King Dedede, and then King Dedede flies out and just kills stuff in front of you. Or you get a giant marble statue and you beat people with it. So, to me, the skills in this game are less important than just the overall feel of it. Like, the skills are cool, but I don't have a strong connection to, like, I need the sword. I need the sword to be a skill in this game. So. And then moving on, we also have friend attacks, which seem to be less about attacks, less about, like, combat, and more about the exploration. There was two that I saw specifically. There was one that was, like, a shape of a giant bridge where all four of the characters stack on top of each other and become a bridge for this escort mission type thing. And then the other one was where they like stack up into a tower and then turn into a ring and roll through the map and they become full Sonic. So this is more like hit a button and then leave it alone and it'll move the game forward. What else do we see? We also saw mini games, which seems like so weird and out of place to me. Like, it's Mario Party, but with Kirby, I guess. And I don't really know what to do with that. And we also saw a short, which was kind of cute, but it was a short. Who cares? I'm still hyped for this game. I still want this really bad.
As not hyped as you sound, I'll have to take your word for it.
I mean, again, all of like the minutia here is just not that interesting to me. It's more about the overall feel and the way it plays. I can't think of anything that I really need in a Kirby game besides just the core mechanics. After the core mechanics are there, everything else is just details, and I don't know. So.
All right, well, let's move on to something that you're actually passionate about. The show note line item here just screams Capcom with like a million M's in all caps. So, Capcom.
So Capcom. I want their leadership to stop saying dumb stuff that makes me angry. I don't think it's difficult. Honestly, if they just stop talking, that'd be fine.
No, because then you get mad at them for not communicating enough.
I've never brought up them not communicating. Anyway, so the Capcom president says Worlds isn't coming to the Switch. That was pretty clear. But he then goes on to say that we as consumers will have to be satisfied with Monster Hunter Double Cross.
Yeah, Devin, just go get Double Cross, dude. I'd be satisfied with that.
Cannot express how, one, dumb that is, and two, I don't have Double Cross. I can't buy it. I mean, I could buy it, but you need English. You need to be able to read the thing to play that game, really. And
just memorize all the little characters, the South Korean characters, and then you can learn Korean as you play it.
I mean, it's also in Japanese, so I could learn Japanese.
I mean, whatever. Pick your language.
Pick my flavor. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just. I mean, I acknowledge. So the interview was done in a Japanese publication, but at the same time, I don't know. It's so dumb. I'm so angry. I want this game. Just.
All right. Let's move you away from anger and into confusion. Hori is releasing a karaoke mic for the Switch. What?
Yeah, I put this in the Patreon headline article, which go check it out on Patreon. There's headline articles every weekday. I don't understand what this is. I don't understand what this is for. There is, as far as I know, literally no software that uses a microphone. I have no idea. And it's not like a headset. It's not, it doesn't sit in front of your face. It's literally a handheld microphone. So the only purpose it serves is for something that you have a hand free. And I would think that if they're going to announce the physical, what's the word? What's the word for, help me?
No, I like watching you struggle.
If you're going to release an accessory like this, one would expect that you would have software for it. And I just don't understand why you would announce the accessory before you've announced the software. Anyway, so this comes out May 30th. So they do have some time to really announce things and get out what they're doing. And it's going to be 2,678 yen, which is about $25 USD. But again, why?
I don't know. We'll never know. Or we'll know by May 30th. Who knows? But anyway, moving along. Bayonetta 1+2 has some cool features. What cool features are we looking at?
So first off, the nonstop...
Oh my god, you put this in here just as... Okay, anyway, yeah, go ahead.
This is my version of the South Park game. So first off, the nonstop climax edition, which 10 out of 10 on that naming. Like, I want to meet the person who in the meeting where they were discussing what to call the special edition was just like, that's good. I want that on there. Like, because somebody needs to lose their job. It's just awful. Anyway, so the nonstop climax edition has a physical copy of the first game, and this is the only way you're going to see a physical copy. They're not selling it individually. It's not available anywhere else. The only way you could do that is to find a reseller. But the resellers are selling the whole kit for $160 USD on eBay, which is obscene. It was so far beyond ridiculous. And if this is something you're interested in, be very careful, because I saw a lot of people selling just the accessories for, I think it was like $70, $50 to $70. So if you find a deal, it's probably not a deal. It's probably just a scam. But the other cool thing is that the physical edition, the just standard physical edition you'll get if you go to a Target or whatever, has a reversible cover that also has the Bayonetta 1 cover on the far side. And I think that's just a cool feature. So.
That makes me mildly sad that I didn't get that one.
What, the special edition?
Yeah.
I tried to get you.
I hate downloading stuff.
Yeah. I tried to get you to get the special edition. I don't know if you remember me telling you about that.
I don't at all. I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't remember this being a thing until just now.
Yeah.
Anyway, Labo news. Bunch of Labo news. What do we got?
We have, so just some tidbits to start. The motorcycle game will let you take a picture of an item and then use it as a track to race around. The examples that we saw were like someone took a picture of their hand and then they just raced around their hand. There were some less everyone appropriate suggestions that let you use your imagination. What else do we see? Nintendo put a bunch of videos on their website further detailing the features and such of the kits. And this is kind of converting me to thinking this is cool. They kind of pushed this arc of first you pull them out and you construct them, and then you play with them, and then you kind of figure out how it works. There's this section in the app that'll kind of guide you through that. It says, open up the back of the piano and then look as you press buttons, and you can see that the camera on the Joy-Con is watching those buttons, and it can kind of judge the distance. So it's stuff like that where you kind of get a sense of what the technology is actually doing. But again, all of this is angled towards, people that are not technologically like super up on it, the children, obviously. And then finally, they push you towards building your own stuff. You can create your own creations from scratch, which I feel like there's a really cool like after school club type thing that you could put on for elementary school, middle-aged school kids. And this would be a really cool thing to kind of build that around. It's like robotics kind of, but So yeah, the more I see it, the cooler it is. Huh? But cardboard.
Yeah.
They also announced a bunch of customization stuff. It's kind of dumb, but it's like tape and stickers and whatnot. The kits are pretty cheap. I think it was $10 from what I saw with just a pre-order. So that's kind of cool.
I thought the tape was cool. Like I'd buy that for like. I know Jasmine's really into like putting tape on her planner to organize her planner, and that'd be a lot cooler than like the Pusheen tape she uses because it's got Nintendo and stuff on it.
Watch your mouth. Pusheen is amazing.
I'm sorry, Pusheen's amazing. Anyway, Shaq Fu, that can't be the real name. Follow up coming this spring. What is Shaq Fu?
Are you really not familiar with this?
No, I know who Shaq is. The baseball player. Yeah, the basketball player.
Wait, which one of us doesn't know about sports? Is that me or you? I'm confused now.
Did the ball go? The ball went.
Anyway, so Shaq Fu is a Genesis and SNES game from forever ago. I played it when I was like 5 or 6. It had 1v1 like fighting game mechanics. Just to be clear, yes, that is a reference to Shaquille O'Neal, the basketball player. He's in basketball. I had to take it. Yeah, you messed a sports thing up, and I knew it, so I had to make fun of you. Anyway, so he is the titular character. He is in that game, and everything you can take from my assessment or my summation of it, you're probably correct. It was a terrible game. It was straight awful. But again, it was a part of my childhood, and obviously a part of lots of people's childhoods if it successfully became a thing. So yeah, that's the old Shaq Fu. They are recreating it in a sort of like beat 'em up aspect, which if I remember correctly, there were subsections of beat 'em up, but the focus was the 1v1 just fighting game in the original. So I don't know about that. You lose me there. But the other important detail is that it's free if you bought NBA Playground, which I did, before July, which I did not. So that makes me sad.
You bought NBA Playgrounds?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because it reminds me of NBA Jam, which was a lot of fun. Me and Tristan played a lot of that.
I know a lot of people who really enjoy that game, so that makes sense. Speaking of a game that a lot of people enjoyed, Mega Man Legacy Collection was rated as a single game.
Yeah, so there was speculation that it would be 2 separate games, like a 1 through 5 and then a 6 through 10. But there was a quote from the ESRB. This is a collection of 10 games from the Mega Man universe. So that's cool. Packing more games into a smaller package is good. But more importantly to me, the Mega Man X collection will be 2 games as per the Australian rating board. And honestly, I won't be picking up the original Mega Man Legacy. I will only be picking up Mega Man X just because I have more nostalgia for the SNES era than I do for the NES. So, I'm a hater. You don't care about any of these, do you?
No, Mega Man was never my jam.
Yeah. You're just not good enough. You gotta get good, kid.
Square Enix put out a video for DQ Builders 2. 2?
Yeah. So this game's actually been out for a while for the PlayStation, I think. I think it's just
Dragon
PlayStation.
Quest Builders?
Yeah.
No, that came out at the same time for PS4 and Switch. I thought. Am I not?
Let's just do some quick
if they put out
Googling
the
on
video
air.
for 2, I guess that means it's been out for a while.
Dragon Quest Builders 1 came out in 2016 for the PlayStation 3 in Japan. So that's what happened.
Okay.
Oh no, it came out in October for PS4 and Vita. October of 2016.
Okay.
So the Switch release is the only recent one.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was like a port. I thought it was just like a new title.
Yeah, it is a very old port. So yeah, now that we've gotten our fact checking out of the way, because we should definitely not be doing that pre-show.
Doing it live is always more, natural.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, so the sequel video was put out, and it looks like the exact same game to me. I'm kind of disappointed, honestly. It looks like it's the same engine. It's got more or less the same features. It looks more like an expansion to me than a true sequel, which is kind of a bummer. If they fix the can't edit your old towns after you progress forward, I will be perfectly happy, because that is seriously killing my vibe. That's the only real thing I want in a sequel. But the other thing they did say, and this is important, There will be save transfers from the first game to the second game. There's no details on what gets transferred, but this is the sort of thing that always turns my crank. I like having that huge mass of progress that kind of carries forward some of the things to make your life easier.
Then you should play Xenoverse 1 and Xenoverse 2, the Dragon Ball games.
Did Xenoverse 1 come to the Switch?
1 didn't, 2 did.
Oh, well, done so.
Nope. Your hero in 1 becomes like the NPC hero in 2 that you're like trying to catch up with the whole game. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty
like,
cool.
They take your character model and everything.
That's pretty sick.
You just see them fighting, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go help her or him or whoever. Anyway, this is kind of a womp womp for me because of how they handled it. But the company that ported LA Noire is also behind the upcoming Dark Souls port. What's Panic Button doing? I mean, Wolfenstein's out soon.
Wolfenstein's currently listed as December 31st, 2018.
Fight me, that game's out soon.
So I don't actually know. You commented on this in the show notes, and I had to, like, I was fact checking you on this. I don't know why you are disappointed by this news.
Because LA Noire, they put like half the game download and half the game on a card.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a fair complaint.
I don't want that again. I want Panic Button. Can Panic Button just make another Panic Button? Like you know how 2 cells, they just 2 and then boom, there's 2. Let's have Panic Button do that.
I take physics, not biology. I don't have any idea what you just said.
I clearly didn't take biology either. The 2 cells, they just to make 2.
Anyway, so I think this is a good thing if you can ignore it. I mean, you've got a 256 gig card. What are you complaining about? Get over it.
I don't like downloading stuff.
Yeah. There's a full conversation there that I want to have at some point. Anyway, the reason it's a good thing, in my opinion, is that LA Noire is it is a fairly complex visual game, and the graphical fidelity of the faces and whatnot is super critical. If you weren't around when that game came out, they really focused on the motion capture for the faces. It's a detective game where you play as a detective, and you have to kind of like judge whether people are lying or not. And they worked really hard at making the faces. You can watch the facial tics and get a sense of whether or not these people are telling the truth. And so the graphical fidelity is obviously massively critical to make that a successful feature. And it ported really well. They made it look really good. They made it not lose things. It doesn't look as good as the PS4 or the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One rather ports or remasters that they made, and
it never will. But
yeah, it's just not, as we keep saying, that's not the feature of the system. If you want a high graphical fidelity, go somewhere else. So the fact that they made it work as well as they did, to me, says a lot. I was actually looking up reviews, and I found, this is ported amazingly well, this is ported amazingly well, they really captured the feel and the essence. I saw one person talking about minor stutters, but he wasn't even like, this is a critical issue. He more or less just said, I had occasional stutters and it was a little jarring, but it wasn't a big deal. So, you're wrong. Download the game.
Just put it all on a card. Don't make me download half the game. Just put it all on one card. If they break it up like that, I just won't buy it. I don't need that in my life. Which is kind of a stupid reason, but I'm angry, so.
I mean, I get that. I get that way about certain things, so I can't actually fault you for that one.
All right, moving along. Roguelike Quest of Dungeons has a demo out. What is that?
It's a roguelike called Quest of Dungeons.
Oh.
So you know the turn-based top-down dungeon crawler, the spiritual predecessor to Diablo?
Cat Quest?
No, that's the same kind of game as Diablo. I hate you.
Oh, sorry.
We've had the roguelike conversation before. I know we have. I just need you to not have such a terrible memory. Anyway.
Like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, that's roguelike.
Yes, exactly that.
Okay. So Quest of Dungeons is a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon?
Yeah, it's functionally Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, but in a more like less kiddie-oriented version. So that got a demo. And this is something, I don't remember if you were talking about Dragon Fighter Z and how badly I wanted that. Yeah, just go download it real quick. I downloaded it like 20 minutes before we started the show and was just playing with it. At one point you were like, what's going on with the show notes? I was like, I'm playing Quest of Dungeons. So anyway, It's a demo. Go get demos. Demos are always good. I really want, as a community, us to show developers that we care about demos and that they drive interest in their games. It's so important. This is a thing that we get more of. So that's out. Go try it. If you at all get interested in that game, then buy it. It's great. It's only like $9.99 or $20.99, $12.99 is
Those
the
were
free.
definitely some words.
They're numbers, actually. You tried.
Oh, snap.
So did you download that? You gonna try it out?
I'm like critically failing. How do you save in Dragon Quest Builders again?
You
Or
go
is
to
it
the
just
thing at the
autosave?
base.
Oh, snap. That's right. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
you gotta be a base.
no, I won't because you're probably gonna ask me to close it out, and I'm standing in front of the castle, and I really want to go in there, so probably not just yet, but I will remember.
So you can't actually cannot download it on the website like you normally can. I couldn't get this to work. I had to go into the Nintendo eShop and look for games with demos specifically. So I wish they would fix this. It's so weird trying to download demos from their websites. I don't know if you remember when the DQ Builders demo came out. I struggled with that so much.
Did you really? Because I just walked right in there and found it.
Well, I was trying to download it like literal minutes after the announcement, and it was just not showing up. I don't know. There's in our show chat, there's screenshots of me going, there's no demo button. No, there was a demo button, and it took me to a here's how you download demos page, and it just wasn't actually helpful. And that's a picture of Colin, the video has Colin with his download. Also, I see the show notes in the reflection. Anyway, that about wraps us up for the news.
Hey, onto the advertisement. So as we said at the top, this episode is brought to you by Podnuts. Devin, tell us more about Podnuts.
Well, Podnuts is a technology-focused podcasting network for normal tech fans by normal tech fans. I like their little tagline there. I don't know. I feel like that really speaks to me. Anyway.
We need a tagline.
We really do. Something to explain our title, because our title's terrible. Anyway, back to Podnuts, who doesn't have a terrible title. Their content covers more than just technology stuff. This week we will be moving forward with our ongoing look at their various shows, and we'll be talking about The Makers. So every week, a giant roundtable of 8 hosts talk about what they're making or other cool things they find in the vein of being a maker. They talk about 3D printing, they talk about CNC work, they occasionally talk about drafting, but that's not a focus. They also the focus there is, crafting solutions to your problems. So after they kind of go over my time period in making, they also talk about some sort of big topic. Their second most recent episode was talking about Lego was a big focus, but also just holiday gift giving and what you can do to make stuff with a 3D printer and a CNC and that kind of like maker world. But they also keep it very approachable and beginner friendly. I heard some recommendations for some very budget 3D printers in the listening that I did. So if you're at all interested in that kind of a topic, it's definitely a good place to start. And go check that out. Thanks for Podnuts for the support. You can find them online at podnuts with a Z, podnutz.com.
Hey, on to game releases. So we have 2 or 3 this week. There weren't a lot this week. Are we gonna switch transition to reviews later?
We'll get there.
Next
We'll
week?
get there.
Okay. Well, first thing up on the docket, Dragon Sinker. What is Dragon Sinker?
A terribly named game.
Next game.
So, Dragon Sinker, it releases on the 22nd of February. It is $12.99. I did not grab foreign prices. I'm terrible. I apologize. It is a 8-bit JRPG. They are full on leaning into the 8-bit JRPG. It's a port of a PC, phone, and 3DS game. And then for the big sales, or the big selling point, it has a very complex class/party building system. There we go. The idea is that you have a couple of main characters, and then you've got 3 different groups that you can swap between freely, and then amongst each group you get your main character, and then just you fill the rest of the party up with your side characters. So the side characters come with a class each, and you unlock them via side quests. and then you just kind of mix and match to build your parties as you want with any of your side quest dudes. And then as you unlock more characters, their classes then get unlocked for everybody, which is cool because again, it gives you that kind of customization. You can build, if you like that character but you like that class, you can combine the two into one person that you really like. And then most importantly, for the long-term progression, when you max out your jobs, you get to keep a subset of their skills to that same character when they class switch. So you can just make these super characters that are uber powerful with tidbits of every class. And then finally, there's also a really cool thing about the compositions of your parties based on race, where, for example, you can make all of your people dwarves, and if all of your dudes are dwarves, they're immune to stats effects, or other such things. So this is exactly what I want in a JRPG. This is what drives me to play JRPGs. Final Fantasy Tactics, the reason that game to me is so good is the job system. I loved that sort of job tree where you kind of have to like build your people and expand. Which I think is that's your button, eh?
It's pretty big for me too. My only hesitation is that it's a phone game as well. The last one that I played that was also a phone game burned me pretty badly. So
Yeah, Merc Saga.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll check it out. It's in Impulse Buy range. It's another I have to download Impulse Buy type. So I don't know. We'll see. It sounds amazing though.
There is a free version supported with ads on the iOS store and Android store. So if you want to give it, 10 minutes there.
I might. It's really gross to me that it's on phone though. Like at all.
I mean, it's done well sometimes. Anyway, that is Dragon Sinker. Again, it releases on the 22nd and it is $12.99.
All right. On to Pac-Man Champion Edition 2 Plus.
They're taking the Capcom Street Fighter version of just keep throwing crap at the end of that name, and it'll eventually get across the fact that it's a better version. The Super Street Fighter Ultra Fighting Edition or whatever. Anyway, it also releases on the 22nd, which is Thursday. It is $19.99, and again, for all of these, I forgot to get foreign prices, and I apologize. And it's Pac-Man. More notably, though, it does have some kind of like, if you were ever going to do a tournament mode for Pac-Man, it is specifically built, or they have a mode specifically built for that. I don't know who's throwing Pac-Man tournaments, but that was one of their little bullet points on the release list. Yeah. Again,
get them pills.
I don't know who that's for, but if that's for you, more power to you. Let me know in the comments. I want to see pictures of your Pac-Man tournament if that's a thing, so tweet at me.
All right, moving along. Radiation Island. What is Radiation Island, and why is it already on my Steam account?
So it releases February 28th, which is this Wednesday. It is $9.99. Next Wednesday?
That's a whole 10 days from now.
Did I write the date now? Anyway, I'm going to talk about it anyway. It's $228, $9.99, and it's in the vein of Minecraft or Rust, yeah, that kind of crafting survival game. You land on an island, you have to find food before you starve. Before the end of the night, you need to find some kind of like warmth or else you freeze to death. It's got that very heavily like survive and craft. There's also zombies that will horde you. I didn't see how that mechanic was really done, but the big thing that people kept saying is, oh yeah, you gotta figure out, like, after you land, you've got to find food and you've got to find shelter. Oh, and run away from that zombie with the katana that's chasing you. So it sounds like as you drop into the world, you've got zombies on your heels. So
it's basically PUBG.
Exactly. It's honestly, it's probably just an Overwatch clone.
Oh, okay. You're right.
So it's also a phone game, Colin. It's got a phone version. So it's also got a PC version, which is $2.99 on Steam. So this one kind of bothers me. It's $2.99 on Steam. It's $9.99 on the Switch. I know the PC version has online multiplayer, and the Nintendo like release page says that it only has one player. And I mean, maybe that's not correct. Nintendo's not super dynamic with those pages. They don't really update them for new information or for changing release dates and whatnot. So, but everything I can find on this game says that it's so good. I read a Touch Arcade review for the phone version, and people were just losing their minds on this game. Yeah, it releases on the 22nd. I don't know why I wrote the 28th. So it does release on the 22nd, the same as every other thing this Thursday. But yeah, so the Touch Arcade review was just, people were losing their minds. They were like, oh, this should have been a $10 game. This could have been an $8 game for a phone. So presumably it's amazing, but yeah, again, it's $2.99 on Steam, and guess what? We're playing it after the show at some point.
After my water change, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, at a $3 release, like, it's just go try it. Just go try it.
That's impulse. That is ultimate impulse range.
Yeah, exactly. And with people losing their minds over how good it is, I definitely am gonna play it. And if it's at all good, I'll probably pick it up for the Switch, because at $3, I don't feel too bad about repurchasing a $3 game. It's just not a big deal.
Yo, I don't either.
You don't feel bad.
Lost Sphere real quick.
How much was that physical?
Oh my god. So that's the end of the games of the week.
So it was a short games release. There was not a lot releasing. So Payday releases this next week on the 22nd for the UK. Releases on the 27th for North America. Next week actually looks worse for game releases than this week, so we decided we'll talk about that next week. But yeah, so that's game releases. Moving on to the question of the week. So this is where that comes up. Last time. So I think I'm going to be doing this for a month just to really like give time for them to come in. So but this is all iterative. If you think that if you have a better way for this to do, if you have suggestions, if you have comments on how we do questions of the time period, I'd love to hear it. Tweet at me at Kulana or at DsyncNerds. I will see both of those. But anyway, so last results are in. The question was, what are you looking forward to most in 2018? And we had AAA games with 2/3 of the responders. And then we had previous gen ports with the remaining 1/3. And then finally, our last two options were more focused on the unique features of the Switch, think 1-2 Switch, and Labo coming in at 0, which doesn't really surprise me because Labo is not really... I don't think the people that listen to this show are the kind of people that want to play Labo. That's just not really the vibe I get. So our new poll is up at bit.ly/DSNpoll21. And I just learned that bit.ly links are case sensitive. So when I tell you in the past, bit.ly/DSNpoll, and I capitalize DSN, if you don't capitalize DSN, it won't work for you. So if you tried to get to those links in the past, it's right. Leave it alone. If you tried to go to those links in the past and they didn't work, that's my bad. I screwed it up. They are now all lowercase. Lowercase DSNPOLL21 is the link. bit.ly/DSNpoll21. With that dumbness out of the way, the question for this time period is going to be, we are talking about switching the upcoming release segment to instead cover the previous week's releases. So instead of talking about stuff coming up, we will talk about stuff that's already released. I feel like this will give us more ability to really dig into the games, because sometimes it's really hard to get a good sense of what the game is when all I have is 3 screens on the store page and a
Switch Planet video that shows the 3 same screens in a video.
Yeah. That happened, I think, 2 weeks ago. I was really grumpy about that. So this will give us an ability to really like dig into reviews and kind of see the sentiment and get a better feel for the game. I feel like sometimes we talk about games and it's just, I don't know, I saw 3 screens. And then sometimes, like we talked about with Dragon Sinker, we can really dig into one of those features and talk about what's going on there. So I think that this is good. If you disagree, I would love to hear from you. Again, at KULANAH on Twitter or at DsyncNerds. You can also email us at dsyncnerds@gmail.com. Those are all good ways to get your feelings heard. Or or respond to the poll at bit.ly/ again, all lowercase, DSNpoll21. And again, that about does it. I've already covered a lot of our contact details, but I'm going to do it again because I am a creature of habit. If you want to email the show, you can do so at dsyncnerds@gmail.com, DESYNCEDNERDS@gmail.com. If you want to tweet at us, the show is at dsyncnerds, DESYNCEDNERDS, or at either of us individually. I'm at KULANAH, Kulana, KULANAH. Let's say that in a speed that people can understand it. And he's DSN Colin at DSNCOLIN. If you want to help support the show, we are on Patreon at patreon.com/DsyncNerds. Again, I'm doing headline roundups every weekday where I just cover the interesting news of the week. I generally try to put stuff in there that is not show relevant. If the news article I'm posting has a 30-minute video, I'm not going to talk about it on the show, most likely. I will instead put it in the Patreon thing, and so that way people have an easier time accessing that. If you want to support the show but can't do so monetarily, you can rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher. And if I see either of those, we will be reading them on the show. And you can catch us next Sunday on twitch.tv/DsyncNerds. All of our VODs will be up on YouTube. The channel is DsyncNerds. We're also at Discord at bit.ly/DSNDiscord. And again, if you've tried to do that on the past, I had capitalization in it. So I've switched that. It is now all lowercase bit.ly/DSNDiscord. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Peace.